One of the reasons why I will never lose is because all of my friends are winners.
I completely disagree with what the chica in the previous video is saying. She's essentially saying that she only has friends with people who are winning because they have such high standards and they're always achieving something, striving for something, winning at life. And I disagree with this because it isn't realistic. I think it's a very fairy tale way of looking at life. Life ebbs and flows, and there are times when we're up and there are times when we're down. And I think because we're all in this rat race, especially as people who are so called high achievers, we sometimes tie ourselves into the thinking that you always have to be winning, and that is not how real life works. You know, it's the same view as how we've been socialized to think that relationships are meant to be fairy tale like. And what that does is that it robs you of the perspective and the reality that things are not cut and dry, right? um, I understand the sentiment from where it comes from, and I don't know how old she is, but at my age, I have discernment enough to know that life is sometimes going to be hard no matter how well you try to prepare or how hard you work, because life is what it is and it's so dependent on other people and circumstance and timing and a whole host of things. um, you're not always going to be winning. So when it comes to friendship, you can have friends that share the same values as you, meaning we're going to be quite similar in maybe our approach to life as far as being a hard worker, having good work ethic, and always striving for betterment. But it doesn't mean that you're always going to get betterment at every turn. So it's a bit shallow and short sighted, and I won't say childish, but I'll say not experienced to think that um, you can always get what you want at every single time. And judging your friend group based on what may be happening to them is a strange thing to do, and it's not being a good friend to say because my friend at this point is down, does not share my same values, is not the kind of person I need to be around or anything like that. So it's a bit weird and it's a bit, but I understand it. It's optimistic and it's, we get stuck in this loop of a kind of toxic positivity where we try to will everything to be perfect. So I'm going to cut such and such a person off because they're not on my level anymore, just because in that moment they are down. Being a good friend and choosing a good circle is just choosing people whose values align with yours. And if you're wise enough, you'll be able to discern that at different times we'll be at different places and because of different things. There was a time in, I think, 2021. I left my job in 2020. Yeah, in 2020, end of 2019, I left my job. I was going to take a small sabbatical or whatever, but I didn't say to anyone I'm taking a sabbatical. I went to America for a few months, traveled around New York, Miami, DC, blah 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 blah. And then my grandfather got sick, who was basically like my father, and I got told, "Hey, babes, and I came home, and obviously I wasn't working, so I stayed home and cared for him, and eventually he died. It was COVID, and etc etc. I went to France, blah 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 blah, but there's so much context that I don't need to say on here. But what I am saying is that had there been friends of mine who looked at me, and there were a few who are not my friends anymore, and their stance was that Tenji doesn't work. She's not working, she's unemployed, she's at home. And those are not the kind of people that I need to be around, blah, 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 because I only surround myself with winners, whatever. That's crazy, and that's a little bit childish, because context is important. There's nothing about me that had changed. It was just my circumstances, and everything obviously is contextualized. So to say that you are only friends with people who are winning, who are doing something, who are doing, I don't know if that is real friendship. Real friendship knows no bounds. It doesn't, it's not restricted by what you have or how well you're doing at a certain point in time. And everything is always a snapshot of a certain point in time. Just because something isn't going as winners do at a certain point, I will never cut a friend of mine off because they are not working, or they are not this, or they are not, or they don't have this, or they don't have that. Sometimes in life, bad times come to us because we need to learn from that period. You know, someone will be married and they'll break up with someone and they'll be down and out, right? Because that's what needs to happen for their life to get to a better place, or whatever it is. Your friend will be sick, your friend will be so overwhelmed with a PhD program that they are doing and that they have to quit, you know. So are you going to write your friend off because they're not a winner anymore, or so-called winner, I'll say? Yeah, so all of this stuff is kind of rubbish. It's the, like I said before, it's the same kind of stuff that says that a relationship should be dissolved because the man doesn't make as much money as uh, you, or he doesn't make more money than you, or he is from a different background, or all kinds of things that we put on romantic relationships that are unrealistic, unreasonable, unkind, you know, like it's a very social climber kind of mindset that is being discussed in this video. And I think that is a little bit, I'm not going to say stupid, I'll just say obtuse and or shallow or short-sighted or just lacking discernment. And I know that some types of discernment only come with time. If you care about someone and you guys share the same values and you've been friends for long, that should be enough. That's it. And what friendship is for is that when you are in your times of not being at your best, that friend group should be the friend group to lift you up. If you are faltering for any reason, if those people care about you, they should lift you up instead of casting you away. So just my 2 cents. And I do understand Wuti. I don't know this person's life or the context or her age even. But yeah, Leo Wuti, mina, I only hang out nabo Beyonce kuphela. Oh, okay. Good luck. Oh, sorry, I came back. The only reason why you should let someone go or cut them out of your life as a friend is if your values don't align. Then that's completely valid. But to expect everyone to be winning and be in their best, on their best form all the time is completely unrealistic. I'm not saying don't cut anyone off. If the values are not, then shuti asahambi sonke, and that's fine. But winning and losing and whatever, all of that shit can change in an instant. Sometimes people fall down because they need to recuperate, they need to learn some lessons, or they need to whatever. There's no setback that is a real drawback. So